Hello, and welcome back to part 4. So I was just doing a bit of preemptive planning, and we're gonna start doing turn taking, and we're gonna judge it by the variable of speed. And back in one of my old videos, there was a guy that made a comment, and he said that I could just use the same struct, but with a different data table. Yeah, I can actually. So I'm going to do that this time. So I'm just going to make a new folder quickly and call this struct data. Struct data. And it's the same guy that said that I spelled defense wrong, so in honor of him, we're going to spell defense with 5 F's. No offense, just a little bit of a meme. So we'll call this the stat struct. There we go. And then we'll just have some standard things like health, speed, what else? Defense, 5 Fs, same 5. Nope. Yeah, that'll do. Armor? Number 1. Magic damage. Physical damage. Then we want to do the same for defense. In fact, we'll make this magic defense. We'll shift this down a bit. So magic damage, magic defense, physical damage, physical defense. That's a nice looking one. Armor is pretty much that then. Health, speed, okay. Well, that looks good for now. If we need anything else, we can just add it on. So health will just be... We'll make it a float, because we're going to put it on a progress bar, and the progress bar works with the float, so it just makes it easier that way. Speed we can have as an integer. Magic damage, may as well make these all floats if they're going to be taken from the health. Alright, that should do for now. And then we'll make our data table. So once again, blueprint now, it's miscellaneous. And then it's data table, not composite data table. And then we just pick our structs, and then for always, for some reason there's always 2. I've never really known why. And we'll call this, we'll just call it battle data table, sure, because it's all relating to the battle. And each row will pretty much be a name for each type of person. Well, no, actually, you'd only want this for the enemies, because when you upload the combat character, you'll want a struct that is, just turn these down. You'll want a struct that saves into the main player for his party members, and you want to pull from a struct when you spawn enemies. But you want to pull from the struct that's saved for your allied characters, so it works a little differently. So we'll still use the same method for like starting stats for the players in like these 4 slots, say if you wanted 4 people. And then you can have the rest for like skulls, ravens, anything else that's like a mob in the world. And we'll do it that way. So if you just follow along, that should be alright. So health, oh god, that's a lot of zeros. What happens if I just put 100? Yeah, it still keeps the zeros. I don't like that. They're going to be integers now. It just hurts my eyes. We'll just convert the integer. Save. That's better. Okay, so we'll have this as our main character, and we can call in P1, P2, P3, P4. How many, in the battle manager, how many spawns do we have? Oh, we have 5. Okay, so we'll have 5 then. And I'll show you how you can speak to an AI, like a thing in the world, and gain a party member, and we'll cover that later on. Skull. Oh, spell it correctly. Raven. Oh, I forgot the slimes. Always have slimes. We'll have a magic slime and a regular slime. Wait. I said I was going to do some thing with risk of rain system. Okay. Give me a minute. I'm just going to think for a second here. We might have to make 2 separate data tables. I think we will. Yeah, we will. So these are now just going to be changed to random monster names. So hog, orc. Been playing a lot of WoW recently. Tauren, undead. Why not a paladin? Yeah, and he's gonna have high HP. He's gonna have low speed. He's gonna have bit of magic damage, bit of magic defense. Yeah, sure. Physical damage. We'll make him an all-rounder. I don't know. Undead. We'll have him low HP, 50, but we'll have him high speed because he's skinny and bony. Magic damage, we'll give him 20 because he's a big bony boy. Magic defense will be like 30. Physical damage will be like 5, and defense, I'd say he's pretty weak in that regard. He's more of a spellcaster undead, isn't he? Tauren's a tanky, 150. Speed, very slow. Magic damage, still spiritual, I guess. 10, 10, whoa. 10, 10. Switch this on. Anti-Coacher. Here you go, guys. Alright, I'm done doing this now. We'll just work with these 3. Paladin, Undead, and Tauren. So, when we spawn them in and we decide what we want to be, we want to pull from the category lottery. So each one should have a weight as well. So we're going to add a weight. And this is going to be how likely it is to get picked. Do we want to do that on a separate one? Alright, so before we spawn the enemies and we spawn the combat characters, let's do a calculation to create a lottery system. This is the lottery system I said I was going to do as well, isn't it? Okay. New function, call it mob lottery. And here we're going to, so we want the structs, we want to get data table by row. And we want to get the battle data table. I'm going to go all the way through. No, because that'll be, the weight will come from the map name. Okay, my bad. Sorry, this is going to take a little thinking. So don't put the weight in there. I'm going to make a separate one. And it's just going to be consistent of all of them. So we want a new struct. And this is going to be the weight struct. Struct. Yeah, that's fine. And this is just going to have all the monster names. They're all going to be integers, so in fact, there we go. So we say we have paladin. And we're just going to do this. Copy, paste, copy, paste. Oh, perfect. Alright, and from this struct, let's just shut this back up here. Don't need that now. Make another data table, same thing as last time. We'll connect it to the weight struct. Okay, and we'll call this weight data table. And here we go, now we have all these. So these are now going to be on map names. So we'll call this map 1, map 2, map 3, and 4. And in map 1, paladins have 20 tickets to spawn. Undead have 10 tickets in the lottery. Tauren have about 5. And the rest are all going to have 0 because we said we were just going to work with the first 3, didn't we? Should not close that data table now. Yeah, the first 3. Well, you know what? Just have options and just to show how it all goes together. Let's make up some random things. 6, 5, 20, 20. Hog. Speed. He's fast boy. 0, 0. 20, 20. The skull. 50. 9. 20, 20. 5, 5. New song. I like that. Oh, Star Wars. Oh yeah. Raven. 75. Sure. Speed 8. 0, 0. 10, 10. And slime. 50. 5. 0, 0. And 5, 5. And then we'll just do the same for this one, except we'll reverse it. 5. This is 5, 5, 0, 0. Okay. So that's all the stats set up for those guys. And now let's just make the likelihood of them getting chosen done. So Orcs, map 1, he'll also have 5 tickets. Hogs will have 5 tickets. Skulls will have 10 tickets. Let's not make them so many paladins because they're evil and very high level. Ravens, 10 tickets. Slimes, 20 tickets, 20 tickets. I like slimes. Map 1. Map 1, we don't like slimes at all, so we just don't give them any tickets. How about Paladin? Like 20, 10. Okay. Yep, that's an undead map then. How about that? 10, 10, 10. Okay, 10, 10, 10, 10. 10. 10. So yeah, they've got a lot of tickets. But that might break the 4 loop chain that we're going to do, so maybe not that many. About 50. We'll just do map 1 and 2 for now. And, alright, structs. Yep. That should be done now. Let's go back into the battle manager. And instead of this table, go for the weight table. We've got map 1. So what we want to do when we spawn is we want to get the map. So we want to set that inside of the world player. And we want to store it in the world player, but we'll set it in the level blueprint. So here we are in the level. Event begin. We're gonna go into the world character. I'm gonna create a variable inside of him. I'm gonna call it map. And then we're gonna call that a name. And then at the beginning of the map, we'll cast, because in case you don't have your player in the world, your world character in the world, and you wanted to spawn somewhere on like a player start or something, then you wouldn't be able to just grab the reference like you can like this. So see, I've got him selected in the level blueprint. Right click, create a reference to him. You could just do that. But in case you spawn him into the world with a player start, do the usual player character. And then I'm just going to set that name. set map. And currently we are in map 1, so if you're on a different map, you would just change this to being 2 or 1, you know. And now, when we go inside the battle manager, do we have an access to the world player straight away? We actually don't, so just to do this, cast to third player. Purpose character, because this is our world character. Character. Promote it. Call it world character. Chuck that in the rest of there. And we'll collect this to a function. And we'll call it casts. There we go. So back into the event graph, and we'll go back into. So we're going to spawn the cameras, and then we want to do the mob lottery. And then we want to spawn the enemies afterwards. So we'll go into the mob lottery now, and then we'll get the world character, and we'll get map. And we'll chuck that in there. And now we have different amounts of tickets for different monsters. So what we want to do now is we want to create a lottery for the monsters. So we're going to use a map variable for this. And we'll call this the mob lottery. You can take this a step further, like they do in Risk of Rain, and map. And you can, let me just think for a second. We'll do strings, and it'll be integers and then strings. So we want integers and strings, because this will be our number of the amount. So every time we add to the map array, you know, sack it, I'll show you. For loop. Yeah, you can take this a step further and have it separate categories for separate tiers of monsters. So if you wanted like a tier 1 set group and a tier 2 group and a tier 3 group, what you do is you do the same thing with this, but instead of like giving them to individual monsters, you'd add lottery tickets for each individual category. But that means you then have to create 3 more categories for each tier, or 3 more lotteries. So you see how we've got 1 mob lottery map, you would need 3 of those, and then you'd pick randomly from one of those. So I'll show you how to fill up your lottery now, or you put your tickets in. So break it. We've got Paladin, he has 10, so 0 to 10. That'll actually give him 11, but it's fine. Is it? Will it? 0 to 10? You know what, one sec. Print. Pile. So, let's just make sure this is going to do it. Yeah, because it's a mob lottery. I should just print off the Paladin onto this. So run it and test it. So we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And his weight on here is 4. Brilliant. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was 5 actually. That's 5 impulses, so yeah, I'm right. It does need to be minus by 1. So do here, minus 1. Alright, so once you've done that one, what will happen is we will, because it's a Paladin, there's the first one, we'll go into here, we'll get the map variable, we'll add, and here's the index, so we're adding 4 into here, so he's taking up 4 slots, and we're going to call it Paladin. And we'll chuck him in. And that is how we start filling up the lottery. So on complete, we do the exact same thing. But this time, we take into account the amount that's already here. So this is why I want to promote this, because it's going to get long. Oh, you can just make it a local variable too. Oh yeah. So struct, so call this lottery struct. Oh, I spelled that wrong. And then we would just get break Paladin. in. Done. First one. Next one. We want to add. So it's this plus this into here. Oh no. Into here. And minus 1 I do believe. So that's just minus 1. But the first one is not 0 because we've already taken into account paladin. So we just need to do this. And now we'll start from where the paladin left off and we'll start filling up the rest with undead tickets. So in we go. Undead. And just as a test, just to see if I can cycle through them. Oops. No, you can't do actions like that. How can we just check? And no, we'll print off these ones. Print. Just check that's doing the right thing. So how many undead do we have? We have 10 undead, so we should have 14 by the end of it. Or 13 because we're trying to minus 1. Yeah, 13. Did we miss? Was 0? 3, 4, 6, what? Ah yes, because it's starting from 3, isn't it? Yeah, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3 is the paladin, so we actually don't want a minus 1 because we're overwriting 3, which is actually meant to be a paladin slot. So if we create a way to cycle through these now, let's go into the third person character. How can we test this? We can give a player input. Yeah. So then begin play. You also want to this is just for testing right now. Yeah, play controller. So when 1 is pressed, I want to test int. I need to make this a singular. We'll get copy. What is it? Oh no, how do I set? No. Strictly utilities. Yeah. Add, clear, find. There we go. And we'll also, so if it can find. So it starts off at 0, and when it's true, we then add 1, just so we can cycle through them all. Just want to check them. There we go. So we can do that one, go into the battle. Alright, so let's have a look. Paladin, 1, 2, 3, 4 paladins, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 undead, and if we press it one more time, yep, no result. Okay, so it works fine. Just a quick check. That's good. So back into the mob lottery. This is how it works. So yeah, just rinse and repeat. Don't need that anymore. Print. And we want to have this now into here. and then we want to have this, -1, and that'll be Torin. Oh, Yori. Yeah, that's fine. And this is why I put it in a function, because this could take a while. So you want to have it go off in a function so it's less less problems. Oh, it takes less time to do it. That's all. Ah, careful. I'm going to copy and paste them like this. Make sure that's connected. Yeah. So this is what you want to do every time you copy paste. Make sure you get the last one that you did, just to save yourself problems like that. Move this down now. Get the skull into that one. The raven in there. Copy. Call this raven. Paste. And as you can imagine, this gets lengthier and lengthier every time you increase your data table. So, yeah, it's nice to only have to do it once. Slime. Magic slime. Alright, I think we're all done now. Yes. So now we've created the lottery, let's go through how we're going to select the monster to spawn. So when we spawn the enemies, we're just doing this chance value first, and then we're telling it this guy. So what we want to do is... So how do we do it last time? I'm going to give him a name, I'm going to give him everything that he needs, and we need to pull from the data table first. So when we do here, I'm going to get data table by the row, and then we're going to go in here, get this mob lottery, find, I'm going to get a random one, it's going to be random in range, and the max will be, oh, what would it be now? How do I do this? I get the length for this one though, so I need to pull off here, length, and do I need to -1 off it? Let's check that actually. Let's test that. All we need to do is this. One. And I also want to find, make sure it's not empty. In fact, that'd be a better way to test it. To make sure it's not empty, we'll print off this one. And if it is empty, we'll know. Oh. disconnect you for now. Alright, have it your way. Come on. Oh, it's come up empty, which is fine, because at least we know now. So when we press one, if we do this -1, and pressing 1, magic slime, yeah, last one. Okay, so yeah, we do want a -1. Getting confused now. Chuck that away, don't need that, don't need that. Come back to that. So mob lottery. Done that. Now we want to spawn. So then we go here. -1. So we went from the last one, which is paladin, to the first one, which is paladin, to the last one, which is magic slime. And when we print it off, we're going to convert it into the get data table. So get data table. But I wrote, because we spell everything the exact same way, it won't matter. We'll get the correct guy. And this is how you create your lottery system. So this is like a system that Risk of Rain 2 taught me. Go on the Wikipedia, you can have a look at all about weights and using cards and picking random monsters through a lottery. You can read all about it on the wiki page. It's the fandom one. And yeah, this is what I kind of put together to suss it out. But I had to do it like I said, 3 tiers. So if you're going to do 3 tiers, be prepared to make 3 tiers of lotteries. But here we go. Now, from the one that we selected to spawn, we have all of its variables. And then we can just, we'll call this initialize. So, I'm going to the AI master. When we bring them into the field, we want to, oh yeah, I remember we just set it at 1 point, weren't we? Then we don't need this. Make a new custom event, call it set mob type. And here we will have the structs that comes in. So call it, what was it called? Struct. Stat struct. And this will be struct. And then we can break the same structs that we have for the health and speed and all that inside of here. And we don't have to do it here. And then when we mob type, we just chuck them in here. I'm just going to compile and save that. And then compile, there we go. Compile and save that. So we set the mob type now. We'd also like to have another variable inside of here, inside of the struct, sorry, which is it a human? To see if whether or not we want to use the skeleton. Not that one. Stat struct. We'll call this humanoid. Oh, human. Human. Question. And we'll say that. Then we'll have a paladin as, yes, he is human. Undead is a humanoid. Soren, yeah, roughly, why not? Orc, yep, stands on 2 legs. Hog, no. Oh, you know, it'll be a standing hog. Skull, no. Raven, no. Slime, no. Magic, no. And we'll do a check at the beginning, saying, are you a human, or are you not? And if you are, we'll have this set to visible. So being true. Oh wait. I'll do. So if he's not true, and you know what, no, we'll not do that, because we want to set something else visible later. So it's true. We'll have this slimes of squares right now. So to visible. If false of component here, static mesh. And well, this is a cube. And now this big cube. 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Compile. And we'll have this as static mob. So if you were to make this into a proper game, you wouldn't really necessarily need to do this, because you would already have a skeleton and a rig for your monsters. So don't do this if you're going to animate your skeletons and stuff, or your slimes, even them, because they'll still require a skeletal mesh, which is this, a skeletal mesh component. But because I'm not doing that, I'm just got my slimes here, and the hog and the raven and the skull, whatever, and I'll have it like that. But yeah, set visible. I'll come back to it. It's being true, and we'll just have them both set to invisible for now. Alright, so depending on which ones it picks is going to determine which one's going to be visible. Let's go test that now. Yeah, so we got one none, one human. So we are getting different types now, we know that. Now we want to maybe make this a function. Yeah, we'll make this a function. What's the function? Gather variables. And then we'll make these. Oh, there's no point making them local variables, because I'll need to call upon the health and all that stuff later anyway. That's fine. Why am I doing that? Don't do that. Right click here. Oh, that's damage, isn't it? There we go, now we're given all the variables that we need in there. Now we need to do the same for the combat characters, but in a different way. So we can still use the same stat struct, we'll just be making a different data table instead. That's actually really good advice from that guy. Quite happy with it. Made me look at it in a different way. It's quite happy. So we want this one to be the battle data, we want this to be combat, or the CC data, combat character data. We'll call this mob data now. Yeah. And then we'll have P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. Uh, 150 for the player, skill speed of 10 because he's a fast guy, he's your main boy. 20, 20, 20, 20. And yeah, they're all human, I guess. We won't even really be using this, so it doesn't really matter if we set this as true or false, but yeah, for the sake of it. So we'll have a mage. Mage is like 75. You know what, well, main character. Mage character. Tank character. DPS character. I'll not call it DPS, we'll call it rogue. Can't even spell rogue. Sure. Rogue. And what else should we have there? We'll have another spellcaster type, we'll have a necromancer. And we might use the human one for whether or not we could say whether or not we actually have the character, rather than using it for the conventional determining whether or not we should be having a static mesh or a skeletal mesh. But I'll cross that when we come to it. So, spawning the enemies, getting the enemy type, creating the new types, we're giving the health and all that stuff now. Combat characters. So what we want to do here is we want to ask whether or not we have the character in the first place, and if we do, whether or not we should spawn them. We also need to ask which position they're going to be spawning in. So if it's going to be P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we could determine that with, we'll have to do all this inside the world character. So this is all going to be variables that we call from the world character, and then we're going to take into account how we spawn them, where we spawn them. What position. So I'm just going to have a think about that. And I'll be right back. I'll just pause the stream for now. Or I'll just leave it open, and then I'll be back after a cigarette. Alright, I'm back. So what do we need? So we were doing the combat character, doing the same kind of deal. Yeah, I'm setting the variables here. So mage, relatively fast, he's an 8. Magic damage, of course, 30, 30, 5, 5. Tank, 200. Very slow, 5. Magic damage, not really. Magic defense though, about 10. 10, 20 here. Maybe we should have his physical defense at 30. Rogue, he's going to be low HP, so 75 again. It's going to be fast though, it's about 11. Not much magic damage, not much magic defense. We'll put these at like 5, 5, so it's not that bad. Physical damage though, he's going to be like 30, 10. Necromancer, we have about 100. Speed, same as the other mage. Magic damage. 20. Physical damage. 10, no, 5. Save. Right, now that we've got the actual stats, do the same thing. And we're only spawning one at the moment as well, because we're not taking into account the other guys, so we'll come back to this. I'll close that down on that. Don't need the AI master anymore. Combat characters is what we're working on. We're spawning it through here, but we need to speak to the world. So let's open up him. Control E to do stuff like that. And you just open up the blueprint from selecting something in the world. And so we're going to need, do we have the mage and all that stuff, these variables. So here, go, do we have, let's look mage next. Do we have the tank? What else have we got? Mage, tank, rogue, necromancer. Oops. Don't need that one. And I'd like to, I don't really need to put a question mark at the end of each one. So, want to speak to an NPC, and we want to unlock this character. So let's create an NPC first, or should we leave that for later? I think we'll just set them to true and false now. So at the moment we'll have them all as true. In fact, no, we'll work with 2, and then we'll get the other 2 going. So when we spawn in with the battle manager, we want to, I've got an idea. How about we call to the world character, get mage, get tank, rogue, and get necromancer. And then we're going to go add, we could add it to a, call this And we'll make this a bool and an array. Well, let me store what the names are. Might have to make this a map. Yeah, I might have to make this a map. Oh. Can you not make a bool a map? That's interesting. That is very interesting. Okay. Let's do them as enums then. Maybe? No. One sec. It's really loud. This is interesting. What is the best way to do this? We could pull from an array. And say let's change this. Could have an array of names and then add to it. Yeah. So currently we will have the mage and the tank by default. And then we'll go into here, get the character list. And then we will, for each, the array element will come from here. So we'll spawn them, and then inside the combat character we'll have another initialize, which will have the struct as well. So on the stat struct there we go. So this will have the struct. And we'll break. And then we'll go back inside the battle manager. And then when we character type, we will need to get data table by row. The name comes from a character list, and the row that's found is there. And here's the combat character data table. Just get back for a second, plug it in. And we're not doing it to just one, we're also getting the play positions. So we need to change this actually as well. I don't want them spawning in the same place. And we're going to do something similar. That's a new spawn location on ally spawn locations. Pretty sure this is a better one. I'm doing it the other way. And then when we spawn them, we want the location. Get copy, and then index, and then they should all just spawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. And in the tactics menu, when we're on fight run tactics, we'll add the options to switch out who should be in front and who should be behind, and then we'll make it so that the AI chooses the people in front at a more likely chance, and we'll go from there. So we have the reference now. Get world. And spawn rotation is once again get world rotation. Oh, they're spawning their collisions. So now fill them up, and alright. So number 1 should be the one in the middle, right? Yeah. 2, 3. So you should go 1, 2, 3. And if we were to have the rest of the boys, then there you go. Now so agenda. Probably going to be some problems. 1, 2. Well, we're missing a guy. Okay. Why are we missing a guy? Probably not the right. I think spawn combat characters. What are the names inside of my world character? Tank, mage. Do we have a tank and do we have a mage? We have a mage and we have a tank. Why did it not give me 2? Probably something silly. Oh, I'm not spawning myself. Back, no more, no, 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 back, no more. I'll have the mage here. It's going to spawn him like that. Tank here. And this is going to be the main. Mage going back, no more. There we go. So there's me. There's my mage. There's my tank. So what we'll do to show who's who, we'll give them different colours. Oh. So we're going to the mannequin, we're going to the character, we're going to his materials, and we'll just make some duplicates of these. In fact, we'll just make an instance. Yeah, we'll just make an instance. Oh, yeah. What options do we have? Body color. Brilliant. It's already here. That's fine. We'll have a red guy. So, we will be normal. Mage. Tank color is green. Or blue. Sure. Possibly be the necromancer. Who knows? And another colour. Green. Save. Close. Save. Close. I need you. Might not need you now. Probably need you. Yes, we will. So, another thing that we want in our struct data is we also want a material. We'll call this body color or material. Save, and now when we go inside of the, this will also be in the other ones as well for the monsters. So UE4 body main. Okay. Do I need to have it as an instance? I think I might do. Full body. So we've got Mage is blue, I'm red, tank is tank can be green. Oh wait, no, I should be normal. Oh, I can't be normal now, but that's fine. So, beautiful. Purple for the rogue. And we'll have to make another one for the necromancer. I guess he can be black. Alright, now we'll get the mesh. So material, element index 0, put that in there, that should work. If not, we'll have to make materials separate rather than instances. Oh, sweet. And there you go. Now we can tell we've got different guys. And we only got one enemy there. And now we just need to plug in the same stuff. This gets tedious. Let's make it into a function again. Gather variables. Oh. Got a lot of things this way. There we go. We don't need the human one. Alright, now that we have everyone's variables, we can start gathering the speed and deciding a turn. Oof, that was a pain. So, thank God. This is just so we can test. Put it in the comment box so we don't remember. Testing stuff. Cast, spawn cameras, mob lottery, spawn the enemies, spawn the combat characters. Now we want to find first turn. Oh, should we just call this whose turn is it? So we want to get our ally array and our enemy array, and we want to get everyone's speed, so we get we do 4 each, and we do another one for this guy, and we get speed. But before we get the speed, we also need to make another variable inside of the combat character in the AI saying turn question mark. This will just be a bool. And we'll do the same in the enemy. And that was for the encounter AI. I also took combat UI. No. AI. Should probably name that better. What was it? Save. 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 And we want to get turn. And we ask, have you had a turn? Should probably check whether or not that is false by default, which it should be. Yes, and combat character now. Yes. And if you have not had a turn, so if it is false, we will create a speed array. And we'll make this a local variable because we won't need this later on, once we've selected somebody as a turn. So local variable, speed, integer, array, and get, add, we also need to test if 2 people have the same speed. Who would it decide upon? Oh, should not have a turn, sorry. And then I think we need to do an add unique. Let's just check. I don't think we need to do an add unique because I don't think I'll add 2 unique items. But we'll have a check. We'll do the same for the enemy. What if 2 have the same? But it would just select one anyway. Right, well, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. So we want to, so once we've gathered everyone's speed, we then want to say who's got the highest. So on complete on here, we will get this, we will find, or max, get the max integer of this, not the index but the value, and we'll say, I'll call this, we need to make this another local variable. And we'll say this is the max speed integer, and we'll set this to be that, and then we'll go along and we will check everyone and say does it match you, and if it does, you're the person that we're going to be controlling when we press fight for the first time. So potentially we won't want to call this straight away, we will want to call it when we select the fight option. So instead of having it go off an event begin play, which it's not even doing anyway, we're going to ask for next, or we'll call it next turn. In fact, we'll just call it inside of the UI. What am I doing? So go into the UI, run tactics, and when we click fight, transitioning, setting the animation, creating a widget, and we want to select a type of AI. Do we want to call this every time we press fight though? No, we kind of want to do it on the very first time we open this, really. This is where it gets a bit complex. Do we want to do it straight away? I think we do. But at the beginning of the file? Yes. We'll do it like this. Whose turn is it? Call it once at the beginning when this is created. And then go in here, get the max. And then we want to get the ally. Ready? For each. And get speed again. And then we want to get the local variable for this, and we say do equal this. And if you do not, do nothing. If you do, we want to create a variable here and go I'll call this combat character reference. And we'll go combat character. And we'll set this as this. So U would be one that we have. And incomplete. But what if it is? We'll ask did give a turn. So I'll do another bool. Did give turn. And we'll call that full. We'll ask first before. And let's branch go here and say, did you give a turn? If you did not, do the same with the enemy one. Get enemy for each. And then same thing. Oh. Oh, and then get max speed. Okay, straight up now. Equal to this. Get in. And we'll also clear this reference as well. So AI reference. Don't even care if that's spelled wrong. So it is the AI master. Sets. And I also want to come back to that because we'll need to clear that and make that false again once we've selected the turns at the end. And so then once that's complete, but if that's the case, and it did give a turn, so make sure that's false, we need to then save that reference really. We don't need to do anything because we've got the reference now. If it is not true, if it is true, then we want to clear this. And if this is false, then we want to make sure that this is clear as well. Because we don't want them saving the references. Alright, so now that we've decided whose turn it is, and we've got the reference, we want to, that is done at the beginning. So maybe I should have this decide on whether or not it creates the next UI for attack, magic and damage. I think that might be the case. So what we'll do, disconnect this, keep that, go into the battle manager. Whose turn is it? And then we'll remove and go back into the battle manager, and we call upon this. We'll need it at the beginning because we'll click fight and it'll do it, and then at the end of this functionality it will create the widgets that we need. Self complete. But we need to know because we only want to create for the player. If it's the AI, we want to have them do their turn. I want to put that in there as well. I don't think we need references, you know. We'll clean it up later. So we create it. So if it's our turn, it'll create the widget. I do believe in the previous videos I actually did this in a much simpler way, but because I've forgotten it, I just kind of hacked it together this time. So it was our turn, so oh no. It was our turn, okay. So I can attack. Oh god. So there are things here, there are entities here. You just can't see them. That's interesting. What's going on there? AI master. Just set invisibility. Mesh has a mesh. Cube has a cube. Gathering the variables. Interesting. Let's have a look and see if that's inside of the enemy select. What are we doing? Getting the enemy array. And we're just adding the buttons on. But we were getting... I think this has messed it up a little bit. You know, we'll just get rid of this. Because you would just be using skeletal meshes anyway. I don't really care now if they're human or not. And we'll just make sure it's visible. I'm going to make that cone a little bit bigger so I can actually see that. So we've selected and released. So now, how about we make some indication as to who's been selected through another HUD, just so that we know who we're actually playing as and who we're casting with and attacking with. So let's make, we'll keep it in the combat UI section, and we'll create a nice little UI, user interface. So call this UI underscore HUD. And we'll have text. We'll want a wrap box really. In fact, I'm going to do this off camera and I'll show you how I do it because I'm very uncertain of how I'm going to make a nice UI, to be quite honest. And I think we'll leave this here because understanding that we are now correctly getting the max speed of our character, because I think the max speed is our main character at 11, so I don't think it matters which one the AI gets at the moment. But when it's the AI's turn, I'm pretty much just going to call a functionality inside of the chosen AI and just say, hey, it's your turn. This is the thing though, but what if two things have max speed? What if two have the same? Two would have the same. So we'd only want to select one really. Rather, it'll select all of them. And same with our characters. Say if somebody had, okay, here's a little bug fix that we're going to do then. As long as I didn't give a turn, it'll do it. And then the same here. We don't need to do the rest of this functionality if we... Yeah, that just stops it till there's two that go through. And then, just to show you what I mean, click on the event graph. We'll call this do turn. And it'll do turn. And this will probably just be an animation of some kind. And just like play animation, then we'll have it select from the available players to attack. And we do this by give the AI the ally array list. That'd be interesting. And we need, so we want to pass over the battle manager too. So let's create another variable before we leave this. Battle manager. And in here we shall do turn. I think we could just introduce it to them all at the beginning. So we'll create them. So spawn characters. We'll also set file manager. I could just chuck it in through here. Yeah, that'd be probably a good idea. So here, we'll just put VM. Add VM. Chuck that into there. And we'll just have this start at the beginning here. And the same with the combat characters. So then when we have the battle manager, spawn enemies self compile. So now everybody has access to the battle manager. And I think we will leave it to there. So yeah, with the idea of using the battle manager here, so when we do a turn, we get allies, get ally array. We for each, no, to select the target that we want to attack, we will get copy of. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll just end it here for now, and I'll give this more of a think.